Happy birthday, Dinky! The tiny unicorn squealed with delight as she gazed upon her surprise party. The backyard of a little cottage had been transformed into a veritable Philly's wonderland. Several tables were laid out, covered in festive tablecloths, adorned with balloons. A mountain of colorfully wrapped gifts was piled in one of them, and the rest were laden with large amounts of sweets. There was even a huge custom birthday cake, a real one, professionally prepared at Sugar Cube Corner, instead of the muffin topped with the candle Dinky was used to receiving on her birthday. Many fillies and colts from Dinky's class at school stood in the yard as well. Dinky immediately recognized the trio who called themselves the Cutie Mark Crusaders, as well as Pipsqueak and a newcomer who had moved into Chattingham a few weeks earlier. Twist, the geeky but friendly filly who sat next to Dinky in class, smiled warmly nearby. A whole host of others were there as well. Dinky assumed nearly the entire class had been invited. Smiling, the broadest of the whole bunch was Dinky's own mom, ditzy. The Pegasus positively beamed as her ecstatic daughter raced into the yard to greet her friends. ditzy had been waiting for years to throw her daughter a proper birthday bash, and this year she finally found herself financially able to. It's kind of sweet. After the last story I read, this is kind of like hard to read because the other one was pretty sad. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you should go check it out. Wow, I sound like a total U-whore right now. ditzy trotted over to the corner of the lawn, where Pinkie Pie was going over her checklist, making sure she had delivered all the requested party elements. Wow, Pinkie Pie, this is amazing, Pegasus commented. Dinky looks really thrilled. You really can throw quite a party. Pinkie grinned. Yeah, well, it's what you get when you order the doozy package, the pink mare chirped. A party with all the extra trimmings. There's even a super duper amazing entertainment coming. They'll be here in a while. Great, ditzy responded. So how much do I owe you for setting all this up? Pinkie froze. Well, I warned you the doozy package isn't exactly cheap. I mean, it's a lot harder to push the doozy party cannon all the way out here than a regular party cannon. Pinkie pointed to the gigantic device, almost twice her height, its barrel gleaming eerily in the shadows as it waited its next opportunity to spew party paraphernalia all over some pony's lawn. ditzy blinked. That probably explained what that explosion was shortly after you got here. Yes, ma'am, Pinkie squeaked. Now, usually the doozy package is pretty pricey, but since you're a first-time customer, I can give you a little discount. Oh, no special treatment, please, ditzy countered. I can pay the full price, really. ditzy handed over the bits to Pinkie. It was only the sum of her last few jobs' pay. She could easily afford to part with it at this point. Okie dokie Loki, said Pinkie as she accepted the money. I'll just be on my way then. Good luck with whatever job you will inevitably wind up being assigned after the impending page break. I'll see you in the next chapter. What? What? ditzy stammered. Pinkie didn't answer. She was too busy preparing to haul the doozy party cannon back to Sugar Cube Corner. I swear, the merit is weirder than Watts sometimes, ditzy mumbled, turning back to the party. Hey, every pony, she called to the young ponies scattered around the lawn. Who wants a birthday cake? In an instant, the Pegasus found herself surrounded by a horde of eager ponies, chattering and carrying on as they awaited the treat. ditzy quickly cut the cake, giving the first piece to little Dinky. Soon every pony was enjoying Pinkie Pie's latest confectionery masterpiece. ditzy was so busy watching the youngsters bury their faces in the cake that she didn't notice the sound of another pony coming around the house and strolling up behind her. Excuse me? ditzy turned and was faced by an unusual sight. The visitor was none other than Ponyville's librarian, Twilight Sparkle, and on her back was Spike, and for whatever reason, Twilight was decked out in her dress from the Grand Galloping Gala, and was wearing her mane in an elaborate style that could have been the work of Rarity. Spike had a top hat, a cape, and magically conjured moustache. Can I help you? ditzy asked, staring at Twilight with one eye and Spike with the other. Well, hi, said Twilight awkwardly. Pinkie Pie sent us to do magic, to a magic show for a birthday party. Does that have to do with something? Does that have something to do with why you're dressed like that? Why is that sentence so hard to say? Does that have something to do with why you are both dressed like that? Ditzy asked. Well, yes, Twilight sighed. Spike is the magician. I'm supposed to be the lovely assistant. Ditzy blinked. Spike can do magic? But of course, oh, uh, but of course, Spike said, standing up on Twilight's back and bowing regally. Regally. Why do I crack with the word regally? I don't know. Sweeping his cape in front of him, Twilight gave her hip a sharp twitch, causing the baby dragon to topple off. No, he can't, she corrected. I'll be the one actually doing the magic. I'm just going to make it look like Spike's doing it. That's why I have my mane like this. I have to keep my horn hidden because, unicorn doing magic is an everyday thing, but a dragon doing magic is something special. Ditzy grinned. Pinkie Pie sure knows how to come up with good entertainment ideas for colts and fillies. That she does, Twilight agreed. Pinkie had us do this before. This crowd usually loves it. Well, duh, Spike added. Who wouldn't love a show where the amazing Spike performs fantastic feats of oh my, that word's huge. Prestidigitation. It says prestidigitation, so I don't know what that really wants to say. Twilight glared at her assistant. Don't get a big head this time, Houdini, or you might find some of your tricks starting to backfire on you. Gotcha, Twilight. Ditzy called everyone together, and soon Twilight and Spike found themselves with a large audience. Good afternoon, every pony, Spike announced. Today, I, the amazing Spike, will put on a display of magic, the likes of which no pony has ever witnessed before. Ooh, the crowd responded. What shall I do first? The dragon asked. Someone in the audience, give me a suggestion. Why don't you make Miss Twilight disappear? Apple Bloom called. Yeah, Scootaloo agreed. Oh, why don't you make Miss Twilight disappear? Apple Bloom called. Yeah, Scootaloo agreed. A vanishing trick. Make Twilight disappear. That would be awesome. Sweetbell is, I really, maybe my voice crack would actually be good for this. I really like her mane. So bootleg. Okay, let's just go with not Vince's voice for what was that voice? Jerry Springer? Let's not do a Jerry Springer voice. I really like her mane, Sweetbell added, taking notice of Twilight's unusual mane style. A simple trick, Spike commented, but very theatrical. I like it. He turned to Twilight and waggled his fingers mysteriously. Why did I do that too? I summoned the ancient dragon magic to make Twilight's sparkle disappear. Twilight performed the mundanely simple invisibility spell and vanished from sight. The audience gasped in surprise and then cheered. Now, shall I bring her back? Yeah! Spike again motioned in Twilight's direction. Fine, let's bring Twilight's sparkle back. Twilight reappeared in a flash, pretending to look shocked, as if Spike had actually sent her to somewhere of his own accord. The audience applauded. I gotta stop reading so much Spanish fan fictions. Ditzy do, aplauso. Ditzy do sat at the back of the group and nibbling on some cake and watching the magic show. She couldn't remember ever seeing her daughter so happy before. Every year, Dinky's birthday was celebrated with a meager homemade muffin and a small dough present, costing only a few bits. It was all the money that Ditzy could spare. Now, she was able to afford a party like this one, and still not be met with a financial hardship. Sure, her new job was hard, but it was worth it, considering the fulfilling results and the huge pay increase from her old job. Applying to Equestria Speedy Shipping Services was the luckiest mistake I have ever made, the mayor thought, smiling to herself. Ever since Dinky's dad died, I really wanted to make her happy, and now I can finally do that. Sure, there was still a minor complication about actually telling Dinky about the new job. Ditzy was still hesitant to do so, even though she wasn't exactly sure why. She harbored a nagging feeling that breaking the news to a filly that one was employed to in a business like matchmaking was something to be handled delicately. So, to say the least, so delicately, to say the least. So every time the thought came to her, she pushed it to the back of her mind. I'll think of something eventually, Ditzy thought absent-mindedly. For now, I should be grateful I even have have a nice job. Indeed, Ditsy's endeavors into pony shipping were still going well. She succeeded at the vast majority of her assignments, and got along well enough with her coworkers, well, except one. I wonder why Glow hates me so much, Ditzy pondered. She doesn't exactly get along with the others either, but I wonder what I did to make myself the prime target. Ever since the argument a few weeks ago, Glow has been acting different. Instead of just spiteful, she seems to have gotten a haughty sort of air about her. She tended to greet Ditzy with a nasty smirk, and the Pegasus couldn't help but wonder if the unicorn was formulating some sort of evil plan. For now, Ditzy found the best course of action was to ignore her co-workers' taunts as much as possible. Both Ditzy and Breeze had not brought up Glow's comment concerning the two of them again. Ditzy didn't feel an explanation was necessary. Glow's accusations don't bother me. It's perfectly obvious that there's nothing going on between Breeze and I. I mean, we're just friends, right? Another tremendous round of applause snapped Ditzy out of her reverie. It appeared that Twilight and Spark Twilight and Spike were about to conclude their show. Well, fillies and gentlecoats, we're almost out of time, Spike announced, but I think we have time for one more trick. Twilight, Twilight, what do you say we get the birthday girl here up to help us? That sounds like an excellent idea, Twilight replied. Dinky squealed with joy as she hopped to her hooves and ran over to Twilight and Spike. Spike grinned and turned to Dinky with a grand sweep of his cape. "All right, Dinky Doo," he announced. "I, the amazing Spike, have the power to perform any amazing feat you desire. What would you like me to do?" I don't think you should say that, Spike. That's just... You can't really say anything. Like, I can perform a lot of amazing feats. Because you probably can't bring anyone to death, even though you're... Please don't speculate on what I meant with that sentence. Ah, the purple mare cooed. That's so sweet. Alright, oh amazing Spike, make it happen. Spike struck a dramatic pose, swung his arm in a grand arc and held them skyward, and at the same time, Twilight released a burst of magic. A glowing orb rocketed into the sky, traveling higher and higher until it was almost out of sight. Then suddenly it was just a Spike. Okay. Oh, I missed an entire like 2 sentences. It says Dinky put a hoof on her chin and thought. Suddenly, her face lit up as she leaned over and whispered something to Spike, who in turn whispered to Twilight. And then she says, "Oh, that's so sweet. Alright, amazing Spike, make it happen." Spike took a dramatic pose, and then suddenly is burst into a giant, colorful firework. I read that word for word, and that didn't make sense to me. Then suddenly, maybe it says it burst. For a moment, the crowd thought that was the whole trick. But then the sparks from the explosion began rearranging themselves in midair, beginning to form words and an image. It only took a few seconds for the particles to take a new form. Ditzy looked up, not sure if she could believe her eyes. Multicolored sparkles spelled the phrase, "Thank you, Mommy," and the image forming beneath it was a surprisingly clear picture of Dinky and Ditzy, snuggled up together in a big, warm hug. The whole audience let out a long awe at the sweetness of the gesture. What do you think? Ditzy, who had been staring dumbstruck at the firework, finally looked down to see her beaming daughter standing in front of her. "Dinky," Ditzy started, a few tears welling up in her eyes as she looked up again at the spectacular gesture of gratitude her daughter had wished up. "Dear, I don't know what to say." Dinky just laughed and tackled her mother, pulling her into a hug not unlike the one depicted in the iridescent masterpiece overhead. "Thank you so much," the little unicorn squeaked. "I've never had a party like this before." You're welcome, Ditzy said lovingly. It's hard to read this, cause that last story, man. It was high time you have a real party. Dinky gave her mother a final affectionate nuzzle before sprinting back to her friends, who were now all talking to Spike about his amazing magic as the aerial picture finally began to fade. Spike eventually said goodbye to everyone and hopped onto Twilight's back. The pair made to leave the yard, strolling past Ditzy on the way. Payment is included in Pinky's fees, Twilight said, so you're already covered. She leaned in a little closer to the Pegasus. And I hope you know you have the sweetest little filly I have ever met. I hope you take good care of her. What is that supposed to mean? Like, that's not something you say to a parent who already, like, if I had a daughter and she did that to me, and she did it to another person, and then I told the person, like, take care of her, I'd be like, are you, like, foreshadowing? Am I a story now? That's what I do. I always do, Ditzy replied with a grin. Twilight smiled. Come on, amazing Spike, our work here is done. Ditzy wiped the last of his happy tears from her misaligned eyes and returned to the host the rest of the party. Luna's moon was rising steadily in the night sky. It was a time for a certain filly to go to sleep. Dinky, bedtime. Dinky ceased playing with the equestrian filly doll she had gotten as a birthday gift and began to trot up the stairs. Halfway up, she stopped and turned back. Hey, Mommy, can I ask you something? Ditzy looked up from her seat from the table. Sure, what is it? Dinky cantered quietly over to the table and hopped up onto the chair across from her mother. Mommy, I was just wondering, how did you manage to throw me such a big party this afternoon? Wasn't it real expensive? Ditzy smiled comfortingly. I got a bonus at work delivering a package to the princess, so I decided to use the extra money on your party. Well, that was nice, Dinky commented, but I hope you liked my thank you gift in return. Ditzy broke in a wide, sincere smile. I loved it. You're the best filly a mother could have. Dinky smiled and was silent for a few moments. Ditzy went back to what she was doing, aware that the filly was still watching her. Mommy, do you think Daddy is up there somewhere, wishing me a happy birthday too? Ditzy's breath caught in her throat. Dinky almost never brought up her late father, mainly because she was too young when he died to remember anything about him. Of course, dear. Daddy's not with us anymore, but I'm sure he's up there somewhere, watching you grow up. You're making him very proud. Dinky sighed happily at the thought of her father's comforting gaze. It's too bad he's gone. I guess I'll need to find someone else to teach me about magic. Ditzy smirked. You could always get the amazing Spike to help you. Dinky laughed aloud. Yeah, or at least Twilight. She was the one really doing the magic, wasn't she? Ditzy I hate that. I love the story, but like something that's really derping me up is this part of the story has ditzy dinky ditzy dinky ditzy dinky ditzy dinky, like that's all what the paragraphs start with. It's really starting to bother me. Oh, there it is. There's a break. It was getting hard for me to track the story for myself. Damn, am I even recording? I'll be so pissed if I forgot to press the record button. Okay. Oh man, my chest hurt. Okay. Dinky shook her head. Nope, she said proudly. Oh, what? Ditzy focused both her eyes on the filly. Nothing gets by you, does it? Dinky shook her head. Nope, she said proudly. No. I'm not even gonna, nope, not even gonna. Now I'll go to bed. Good night, Mommy. Good night, sweetie, Ditzy said as she watched the filly bounce up the stairs. Nothing gets by Dinky, she thought to herself again. How many of my excuses about work has she already seen through? The mare pushed the thought from her mind and got back to work. Pinkie Pie lurked between the page breaks, having lost her way through Chapter 7 after leaving Dickie's party. After realizing she had rather awkwardly created an unnecessary paragraph with her antics, she waved briefly at the readers before turning and setting off down the side of another page. Hold on. Okay. Ditzy do. Come to my office for your next assignment. Thank you. Ditzy gratefully got up to answer Candy Floss's call. She had been stuck in the lounge with no one around her but for 2 hours. She was all but eager to escape the Earth Pony's endless chatter. She trotted down to the office of her superior. Good afternoon, Ditzy, Candy Floss said with his Candy Floss, a voice I can actually attempt. Good morning, Ditzy, Candy Floss said with his usual big smile. How are you today? Fine, said Ditzy. What's today's mission? Today, Candy Floss started. Sí, le puse ahí en la mañana. Okay, bye. See you later. You're getting a unusual kind of mission, and so must be informed a few additional parameters of your job. Today we have gotten, as we occasionally what? See? Okay, hold on, Mom. Hold on. ¿Ya? Yo ya les puse comida. Adios, goodbye, I love you. God, that was unnecessary. Let's continue reading. Parameters to your job. Today we have gotten, as we occasionally do, a call from a young colt. As you might expect, the ethical standards held at Equestria Speedy Shipping Service cannot allow us to attempt to form a serious lifelong bond among underage ponies. Usually, when we get calls from young ponies, they aren't after that anyways. You are permitted to aid them in achieving a date with the object of their affection, a simple, informal dinner. Any requests of a young pony to get the object of their affection to form any sort of long-term relationship, as well as any other request that may be considered improper for a pony of that age, must be denied in order to uphold our ethical standards. Do you agree? Of course, said Ditzy. I have a filly of my own. I know what's acceptable for kids. Good, said Candy Floss. Here's the address. Off you go. Ditzy took to the air and soon found herself at an average-looking house in Ponyville. She rapped briefly on the door. A moment passed and the door swung open, revealing a tiny, pudgy turquoise unicorn colt with a pair of scissors as a cutie mark. Hello, said Ditzy. Someone contacted why can't I say that? Equestria Speedy Shipping Services? The unicorn's eyes lit up. Snails! he cried. They actually sent someone! We're saved! He turned back to Ditzy. I need to see how that sounds like, but I don't know. I don't want to read that. My name's Snips, and my pal Snails is inside, and boy, do both of us need your help. He trotted back inside, motioning for Ditzy to follow. Once they reached the living room, Ditzy caught sight of the other pony, an orange unicorn with a greenish mane, who was gazing blankly into space. I think I'm gonna read it this way just because I don't have any other voices. Snails, Snip said. This is the shipping pony. She's gonna help us out. Snails turned over and ever so slowly to stare at Ditzy. I like her eyes, he drawled after a moment. Snips chuckled. Don't mind Snails, he's a little slow, but the two of us need your help with a big problem. Sure, said Ditzy. What's wrong? Well, Snip started, we were talking with our friends at school, and everyone is admiring our friend Peachbit because he's going out with this super awesome filly in our class named Lemon Fresh, and I thought it was annoying how he was bragging about getting a date. So I told him that I can get any filly that I wanted to if I really tried. Ditzy didn't like where this is going. So naturally, Snips continued, Peach Pit and Snails and I couldn't get a date for in a million years, and so I said, oh yeah? And he said, yeah. Ditzy didn't like where this was going at all. So, Snips continued, I bet him that Snails and I can get a date with any available filly in our class within a week. And he said, fine then, it's a bet.
Everything would have been all set up for us to prove him wrong, but then he told us which fillies we had to get dates with. Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon.
Silver Spoon is cute, announced Snails to no one in particular, eliciting a puzzled look from Snips. The orange uniform took no heed, continuing to stare at the wall and smiled dully. Ditzy put a hoof on her forehead in annoyance. Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon. If Dinky's description of her classmates were any indication, the two were the most mean-spirited and stuck-up fillies to ever to curse Ponyville with their presence. They were also rich and extremely picky. Ditzy suspected ragamuffins like Snips and Snails were the last ponies they would ever consider dating.
The point is, Snips continued, we didn't even like these two, but we need to get photographic proof that we were on a date with them by tomorrow, or we'll lose the bet. So will you need to help us get a date, please?
Ditzy was under no obligation to accept every assignment, but then again, this might be a good chance for her to teach these colts not to accept stupid bets, and not to date snobby jerks like Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon. She decided to accept. The alternative was returning to HQ and listening to Watt ramble on some more. I hope that Watt becomes more important later in the story, because he sounds kind of unwanted and kind of annoying, and I want him to be awesome. Alright, kids, we'll give it a try. Woohoo! Oh god.
Woohoo!
Snips cheered.
You hear that, Snails? We're gonna win this bet yet.
Snails just blinked. Not so fast. You have to pay for this service, you know. Oh, Snips said.
Oh,
Snip said, thinking hard for a moment.
well, when we win this bet tomorrow, we get 40 bits. You can take half of that.
20 bits was an incredibly meager pay for a shipping job, but then again, these were young colts. Ditzy took the offer.
Come on, Snips.
I mean,
Come on, Snails.
Snips called as he followed the Pegasus out of the door.
Let's go get us some fillies.
That's just terrible. Snips seemed to register the instruction after a few moments, and shouted out the door with Snips. Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon appeared to be in some kind of argument. Neither was aware that the three faces, two belonging to the colts and one to a mare, peering around the corner of the building. These two? Ditzy asked. Hold on, I'll be right back. I think I need to go do something. I would have lied to you if I said that I stopped the video so I could burp, but, you know. Whatever. These two, Ditzy asked. She could tell by just looking at the two fillies that everything that Dicky had described of them, rich, snobbish, and ill-tempered.
That's them,
Snips whispered.
What's the plan?
Ditzy scrutinized the target for a moment. I need to see how they react to you. Just walk over to them and say hi. And don't even bring up the fact that you're trying to get a date with them. Snips shrugged.
You're the boss. Come on, Snails.
Snips and Snails strode nonchalantly in the square. The fillies did not notice their approach, as they were still locked in a battle of words. Snip cleared his throat. Did you hear my sigh? Did you hear my sigh? Please write in the comments if you heard my sigh right there.
Hi, ladies.
Both fillies quieted instantly and turned their face at the new arrivals. Silver Spoon crunched up her nose distastefully, and Diamond Tiara took a step back, lifting a front hoof and sticking out her tongue in disgust. Ew, Diamond Tiara proclaimed. What do you two losers want?
Nothing,
Snip said quickly.
Just, I mean, nice day, huh?
Yeah, until you loused it up, the pink filly responded. Now go away before we catch the plague or something from you two weirdos. Effed up. Snip sighed and made to go back the way he came. After a few steps, he realized Snails was not following. The orange coat was staring fixedly at Silver Spoon, whose expression was growing increasingly disturbed. Snips grabbed his companion's tail and yanked him away. Well, that went as well as expected, Ditzy deadpanned once the colt returned to her hiding place. Yeah, Snip said, but you've gotta have some kind of magical strategy to make us. Oh, wait. Well, fair.
Yeah, Snip said. But you've got some kind of magic strategy to make us like us, right? I mean, you couldn't be a shipper otherwise, could you?
Ditzy laughed. There's no magic strategy, I'm afraid. Trust me. There's more than one way to catch a filly's interest. The Pegasus turned and trotted briskly down the street with her young client in tow. Schnips peeked out of the small closet he and Snails had been rummaging through.
What exactly are we looking for again?
I told you, Ditzy replied impatiently. You need to find some way to impress the two with a display of skill. Don't you guys have anything that you can do to impress them?
I'll keep looking,
Snips answered, plunging back into the pile of junk in the closet. Ditzy thought over her strategy yet again. In most situations, this would be considered a very blunt and rather shallow way for the client to get target's attention, but impressing fillies or colts was different than impressing adult ponies. Ditzy remembered Dinky's detailed description of Apple Bloom's antics, involving some device called a loop-de-hoop. Fruity Loops. A few weeks earlier, another example of her theory, young ponies for the most part, was easily impressed by some display of skill. The question was, could Snips and Snails do anything impressive enough to interest Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon? Well, there was good news and there was bad news. The good news was Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon were in a good mood. The bad news is that they were in a good mood because the stunts that Snips and Snails had just tried to pull had gone so catastrophically wrong that it left both fillies rolling around in the ground with laughter. Oh man, you guys are so pathetic. Messed up. Diamond Tiara squealed in malicious delight as she watched the colts struggle to untangle themselves from the bizarre position they had found them. They had been wound up in the following accident. I know, right? Silver Spoon added between fits of laughter. I mean, why would you even try something like that? I could understand if you were those three fillies who were still looking for their cutie marks, but the two of you, what are you even trying to prove? Snips and Snails just stared at the ground as the two giggling fillies walked away, describing the stunt again and again laughing between themselves. A few moments later, there was a flutter of wings as an exasperated gray Pegasus landed next to the colts. Well, they noticed you, Ditzy said dryly, but not in the way that we hoped, but we did what you said, Snails responded. We performed the feat of skill. I kind of want to know what they did. Ditzy shook her head. Perhaps I should have been more specific. You two were supposed to do some stunt that you actually knew how to do, not just one that would be impressive, but basically impossible for you. When I saw you come out here with a beach ball and a dozen eggs, I wasn't sure what you were planning, but I figured it was some simple trick of yours. Instead, I watched you wind up in a tangle of legs, covered in egg yolk, with the two fillies you're trying to impress laughing their flanks off at you. And I don't even know how you managed to set Leafy Green's cabbage cart on fire. Oh. I guess. Oh, I want to stop the video. I don't even know how you set the cabbage can on fire. That's kind of messed up. Kind of reminds me of how that dude in Avatar, that old dude, he like owns a cabbage cart in the anime, not the. And he's like in the Earth Village or whatever. I don't know. I haven't watched it since Nickelodeon stopped. And then he's like tries to get away, and then everywhere he goes, his cabbage cart gets destroyed or something. Oh my god! I hope it's not referencing that, but that's still pretty funny. I'm gonna have to pay for it. Alright, we get it.
Alright, we get it, Snip said. We screwed up, okay? Sorry.
Ditzy caught herself when she heard Snip's apologetic outburst. No, I'm sorry. Customer service is an important part of my job, and more importantly, I'm usually such a friendly pony. I've been letting myself get too worked up over this. Sure, this isn't the type of assignment I'm used to having, and we've had a few setbacks so far, but that's no reason for me to turn into a grump. She looked at Snips and Snails, who were watching her curiously. You guys forgive me? Snips and Snails grinned. Sure, said Snails, his usual vigor returning. Don't worry about it. Great, said Ditzy, relieved. Now let's do this right. I've got some other shipping tactics that might just work. You know, if I didn't know any better, I would say I don't know. That's not. I don't know. If I didn't know any better, I'm just gonna keep on with that set of words because I don't exactly remember what those mean. If I didn't know any better, I would say that they're going to get delicately brushed moustaches that will cling the fillies like magnets or lights to a moth. Anyways, 6 hours had nearly doubled. Oh, 6 hours had nearly doubled. 6 hours and nearly a dozen failed strategies later, Titi was finding it difficult to maintain her composure. But she refused to let her frustration show again. She was a better pony than that. Snips and Snails were getting discouraged too. It's no use, Snip said with a sigh. Diamond Tiara. Oh, it's no use, Snip said with a sigh.
Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon have watched us make fools of ourselves over and over today. Maybe we should just give in and lose the bet.
Well, Ditzy began, feeling rather defeated as well. Let's give it one more go. And then, if we still fail, we call it quits, alright?
Yeah, why not?
Snips mumbled. Oh, I added that with my cracky voice, and it sounded like weird. Like Chewbacca makes weirder noises. Okay then, the Pegasus racked her brain for anything else that the Colts could try. Let's go with something simple. Just try complimenting them. Any feature will do. Just tell them that they have lustrous coats, or beautiful eyes, or something. At this point, they'll probably just laugh at you again, but there's no harm in trying.
Sure, why not?
Said Snipes. God dang it, said Snips enthusiastically.
Let's go, Snails.
The Colts exited the building in which they had been hiding, and located Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon once again. Silver Spoon was the first to see them coming. She poked Diamond Tiara to get her attention. Look who's heading this way. Diamond Tiara turned around, catching sight of the approaching Colts. You two again, she asked. Seriously? You can't just go away before somebody gets hurt from laughing at you so hard? That's fucked up. Like, really? You guys are just rubbing it in. Snips ignored the jeer as he tried to decide how to compliment the pink filly. What feature do I praise? Snips thought. Oh.
What feature do I praise? Snips thought. Her mane? Her eyes? Or maybe her tiara?
You're hot. Oh god. Oh my god, it's like that one Bella in that SpongeBob movie. You're hot from Patrick. You're hot, Silver Spoon. Snails replied suddenly yelled. There was a long and awkward silence. Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon glanced at each other briefly once again, collapsing in laughter. Snail's face had turned bright red. He stood completely still, not quite sure what had caused him to admit his opinion to the Great Filly. Snips just shook his head. That's it, we're done. Oh wait.
That's it, and we're done. Let's go, Snails.
The two colts began to trot away, yet again from the gleeful fillies, but Diamond Tiara stopped them. Wait, she managed to choke out between laughs. Just hang on a sec. The fillies gathered their composure and stood up, facing Snips and Snails with a curious expression. I just have to know, is there some particular reason you two have been following us around all day and doing stupid things? Are you really just that bored or something? Nah. Nah, Snip said, deciding to spill the beans. We're trying to impress you so you go on a date with us, but so we could what? Diamond Tiara gasped. Why would either of you possibly think that the two of us would ever go on a date with you two losers? I mean, I know you're dumb, but you're not that dumb. I know.
I know, Snips mumbled. It was a stupid idea. Snails and we just don't want to lose the bet. But it's not a big deal.
Bet? Asked Silver Spoon, walking up to next to Diamond Tiara. What bet? Peach Pit at school is going to pay us 40 bits if we manage to get a date with you two by today, Snips asked.
That's why we were trying so hard.
Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon looked at one another. Silver Spoon was thinking. Silver Spoon, are you thinking what I'm thinking? I think I'm thinking what you're thinking, Diamond Tiara. Once again, Diamond Tiara faced Snips and Snails. Alright, listen. We'll cut you two stooges a deal. We'll pretend to go out with you just long enough for you to get the proof that you need. And then when you win your bet, we get 20 bits from your winnings. Snip's face lit up. Really? Diamond Tiara shrugged. Sure, why not? Just don't get any ideas. Remember, we still hate you two. Fine by me.
Fine, but fine by me,
Snip said.
So, who's got a camera?
No way. Peach Pit breathed, unable to believe what he was looking at. The photograph clearly showed Snips and Snail sitting at a table at the ice cream shop, posing for a photo with Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon.
There's your proof,
said Snips smugly. So, ¿a dónde está el dinero? Where's our money? Fine, Peach Pit grumbled, handing Snips a bag of full coins. I don't know how you two did it, though. The confused Colt wandered away, shaking his head, leaving Snips and Snails with the money. As soon as he was out of sight, a certain pair of fillies trotted over where they had been discreetly watching from another part of the playground. Alright, we'll take our share now, Diamond Tiara said. She snagged the bag of Snip's hoof, dumping out the coins, and took 20 for herself and Silver Spoon. Thanks, losers, the pink man. So evil. So disgustingly evil. Sauntering away with her newly earned funds. Silver Spoon remained behind for a moment, watching Diamond Tiara walk away and around the corner from the schoolhouse. She turned back to Snips and Snails curiously. She was blushing ever so slightly. Snails, the silvery filly asked. Yesterday, did you mean what you said when you said I was cute? Oh, that's so adorable. A wide, dopey grin appeared on Snail's face. Yes, ma'am. Silver Spoon looked left and right a few times when No Pony was watching, then suddenly hopped up and gave Snails a quick peck on the cheek before turning tail and scurrying off in the direction Diamond Tiara had gone. Now it was Snips's turn to burst out laughing. The turquoise coat cracked up at his orange companion, stood up stark still, blushing madly and staring in the direction Silver Spoon had gone. Snips might have gone on laughing for much more if a certain gray Pegasus hadn't floated down from the roof of the school and landed next to him for a moment later. Oh,
hello again,
Snip said.
Here are your share for the winnings, right?
That's right, said Ditzy. You promised me half.
Yep,
Snip said.
So let's see. We gave 20 to Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon. Half goes to you, so that leaves us with
absolutely nothing, Ditzy finished in a matter-of-fact tone, picking up the bag containing the remaining bits. Snips blinked at the realization dawned upon them. Oh yeah. Hopefully you two have learned a little something about making bets you can't win, Ditzy said. Snip nodded.
I'll say.
What? I'll say all that effort. All that effort. I think that's supposed to say all that effort.
I'll say all that effort. And all that came out of it was a big old 0.
Not quite nothing. Wait. Not quite nothing, Snail said, holding the hoof to his cheek as Silver Spoon had kissed. Snips laughed.
Whoa, buddy. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Ditzy said goodbye to her young client and took a quick grin and a wave. She launched herself into the sky again. Breeze is gonna laugh his flank off at this one, the mayor thought as she soared back to headquarters. Dinky Doo and her friend Twist appeared at the schoolhouse window. Was that my mom? The little gray unicorn asked her friend, talking to Snips and Snails. What was she doing out there? Twist asked. I don't know, but I guess I shouldn't be surprised. Mom has been acting strange for the last few months. She turned to her. Oh, God. It's tradition for me to do it this way, and I'm going to brush down my hair. Because it's so long. I need to cut it. It's so... Okay. It's not done yet. Hold on. Don't close out the video. Hold on. I gotta read the last few just epically because I like doing that. Dinky Doo and her friend Twist peered out from outside the school window. Was that my mom? The little gray unicorn asked her friend, talking to Snips and Snails. What was she doing out there? Twist asked. I don't know, Dinky said, but I guess I shouldn't be surprised. Mom has been acting strange for the last few months. She turned to her red-headed friend, determination in her eyes. And you know what, Twist? I'm going to find out why. Dang it, I was going to make a reference, but the feeling passed, and now I don't want to do it. Uh-oh, ditch Dinky is snooping. I'm reading comments in case you didn't know. Wow, they changed the comment system again? I mean, they changed the comment system? It's weird. Oh, that scared me. This is so adorable. Yes, it is. I love this fanfic so far, and definitely enjoyed the last chapter too. I just wanted to let you know about an error I caught. Snips nodded. I'll say... That's the one I caught. I'm not gonna read that. Begone! First of all, that will breach. Secondly, epic DOS. Third, oh, it's done. So you can go away now. Bye, people, if you don't want to hear random comments. A few thoughts on this chapter. First off, that a little bit of Pinky's medium awareness wins so hard. Well, actually, you probably do have the same idea. Whatever, my point stands. Secondly, poor cabbage vendor. He just can't catch a break, no matter what universe he's depicted in. I think cabbages are now the go-to vegetable comedy, as they should be. Lastly, I found a minor few errors. I'm not going to read those. Schnoppang, as usual, I see. Dang it, I was beating it to it. The fireworks display. I want pictures. Oh, not to be anal retentive, just pointing out a minor mistake you made. Not that it matters. Twist has a lisp, and you seem to have pronounced S sounds perfectly. Just saying. Oh God. Shinopengas, as usual. That is where the YouTube meme Pingas originated from. Also, I'm sure the cabbage merchant said that when his catch caught fire, my cabbages... I'm sorry, do you have a problem with my spelling it correctly, or am I allowed a small amount of freedom to say more than one word, since it is in all actuality 2 words and not 1? Still a good story. I noticed a few errors here and there, which have already been pointed out, so, by the way, you're not full of ship. The sheer amount of adorableness in this chapter gave me diabetes, in a good way. Impending page break. Pinkie Pie. The party's overlord's power. So much epic power. It's something I do not want to go up against. Huh? Silver Spoon and Snails sitting in a tree. Kissing. I literally laughed out so hard that it was quite like a cracker. Sweetie's random. I like her mane. So added Pinkie Pie and catching fire. Brilliant! Also, I like Silver Spoon Love. I hope you liked my round of sexy voice acting by me. Okay, I'm done. I'm just gonna curl up because it's so damn cold over here. Why so cold? Why are you so cold? I don't know why I get crazy when it's cold, but the more you know, the more I don't really care. 50 minutes of recording. They're just gonna take ages to to, you know, upload.